Alright, so here's a video on changing oil in your Ford Escape Hybrid. I think inline 4 would have a similar procedure for changing oil. So for this you would need the oil and the oil filter. If you want to know what kind of oil you need, you can just take a look under the hood. Okay, right there on the oil cap it says 5W20. Did I get 5W20? Yes, I did, and I got it from Canadian Tire, just because I wanna, support domestic production. Oil filter. There's two types of oil filters come for these cars. It might be a little bit tricky to find it. So this is, I believe, called a cartridge type of oil filter. If you take a look under your car and you see this type of cap, that means you need a cartridge. If you have a can looking thing that looks like a can, then you need a canister or a can filter. This is the type of filter that I need for this one. You will need a 13mm socket and really strong grip to be able to take off the filter cap, or a tool like this. Not sure what size this is, but this is the tool that fits over the filter cap. And then you also need something to drain the oil into, to be environmentally responsible and not drain it all over your driveway or on somebody's front lawn, but into a canister, something like that. Yeah. Just take this, open it up, make sure it's closed. Oh god. Slide it in. Okay, so oil filter, oil pan, and right here is a drain plug. So you can reach in with the socket. Let's see here. And loosen it. Anyway, let's take a look from this side. Okay. Yep. There's a bolt, and then there's a wrench. That's what I need to take off. Alright, silly mistake. I was turning the bolt the wrong way. So after you break it loose, it should be easy to turn it out. What you want to do is you want to apply pressure with your index finger and then keep spinning it. That way the oil is not going to spill as you're removing the bolt. And once it's ready to fall out, there, minimum spillage. And then to help it drain, can remove the oil cap. Also, people recommend doing this when the engine is warm, because oil is gonna flow better, but I don't know, I don't think it makes a difference. And next, the oil filter cap. So there is the cap, and let's see if I can remove it by hand. Nope, it's really difficult. I've been doing it for years by hand until I took it to the car, to the Mr. Lube, and then I couldn't remove it by hand. Then I had to buy the tool, and after I bought the tool, I had no reason to try to use my hands anymore when I have a tool. Also, the proper procedure is actually to drain this before removing it, but that's just gonna take too much time, so I prefer just to remove it and let it drain as I drop the filter. Okay, let's see here. There you go. There's the cap, and then there's the filter. So you can just leave it here, let it drain itself for a little while, and meanwhile wipe my hands. Alright, so here's the can or the cap filter with the cartridge. Here's a new cartridge and the new O-ring. So the old cartridge can get out. There, and the new one can go in. So I don't think they're directional, so I think you can just put it either way. So far it worked fine for me. Yep. Okay, and then there's O-ring here we need to remove. There we go. And then need to put new O-ring. So now it's recommended to lube this new O-ring in the new oil, kind of just like grease it up like this with the new oil, not old oil. But I'm just gonna use the old oil because I don't know, it seems to be no different than the new oil. And there you go. And yeah, just squish in, and there's some kind of spring. So it's ready to go back in. Yeah, make sure that O-ring is seated in that groove well, not pinched. Okay. I'm gonna get all greased up myself now. Okay. Okay. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Yep, there it is. Goes back in where I got it. Okay. I'll make sure that the O-ring is not pinched. Okay, so usually I would tighten it by hand and just wipe it, and that's it. I don't usually use tools to tighten this. So same thing if you have a canister, just tighten it by hand. It doesn't need to be very tight. And next I'm gonna put the drain plug. So that's what it looks like. So just gonna put it in by hand and then tighten it with the wrench. Okay, I don't think I can do it with the left hand. This is gonna be really awkward. Oh yes. Anyway, you get the idea. Alright, so after the oil pan has been tightened and oil filter has been installed, and fill the engine with oil. Alright, funnel is not necessary for this operation, but sure makes things a lot cleaner. So I believe this engine takes something like 4 point something liters, or like 4 point something quarts, whatever the imperial system is. So I'm just gonna go until it's almost empty, and I'm gonna stop and check the level. So to not spill it, I usually start from sideways kind of position like this, and then yeah, like this. So even if you don't have a funnel, I think it's possible to do it without spilling. Now, can I turn off the cell phone while still filling oil? I don't know. Okay, fine, I'll just try to fill the oil faster. Okay. So I hope I didn't overfill it since it feels very empty. Alright, so next there is this dipstick right here. So what you want to do is you want to pull it out, and then you want to wipe it. And then take a look at it. So there's two holes. One of them is for minimum, the other one is for maximum. You kind of want to be in between those two. Don't really need to be exactly at maximum. Maximum is maximum. Doesn't mean you need to get there. It's just a limit. Okay. Alright, and you can, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but I can see the oil is over the maximum. So that's fine, because I didn't even start the engine yet. When I start the engine, some oil will circulate through the oil filter, which will take some volume, and I think I might be just right place for this. I mean, just might be the right amount. Yeah. Okay, so remove this guy. Okay, and then also you want to close the oil cap before starting the engine. There, I want the letters to be right side up. Yeah, and you want dipstick to be all the way in when you start the engine, otherwise it's a vacuum leak. Alright. Alright, so there's that red light right there. That means there's no oil pressure. When the engine starts, it will actually use the starter motor for like maybe first 30 seconds, and it will prime the oil system. Once the oil system has been primed enough, this oil light should go off. If you don't have a hybrid car, then you can start the car and the car will run with no oil pressure for the first 30 seconds. There's a way around that. There's a way to prime the system without starting the car. We'll show that later. But since I'm a hybrid, I can actually start the car without priming, and you can watch for this light to go off. There it is, priming, and oil light is off. And yeah, you can just let it run like this for a few seconds and then check oil level again. Alright, so checking the oil again after engine has ran for a while, and I can see that it's kind of between minimum and max, almost at max, but not at max, and I'm fine with that. I don't really want to overfill it. It's better to have a little bit less than max, then overfill it. Because then if you overfill it, you can have seals blow out. Okay. And pulled out the drain pan. And another good reason to do oil change yourself, so you can take a look at how your oil looks like. If you look at your oil and you have like a lot of sparkly stuff, that means your engine is done and you should start shopping around maybe for a new engine or a new car. If there's no sparkling stuff, then it's probably fine. If you drain it and it looks like a milkshake, then maybe you have a blown head gasket and you have coolant leaking into your oil. And usually I would just leave it like this overnight, let it drain, and I'll clean it out tomorrow more and take it to recycling center. You could also take this and drain it into the oil can where you bought it from, so you can just recycle it all at the same time. But trying to drain this into that can be quite a messy ordeal, so I usually just take the whole thing and take this to recycling center. Yeah, bonus content tomorrow. I'll show you how to recycle oil. But for now, oil change is done, so you can close your car and reset the oil count. Okay. So there's a buttons here. You wanna go to setup, check, click this oil, and then keep pressing OK to reset oil life. Where is it? There. Just gonna hit reset, and now oil life set to 100. There you go. And yeah, bonus content tomorrow, recycling oil. Alright, to find a place to recycle your oil or used car parts, you can just Google it. Google recycling in Google Maps, and you should see a whole bunch of recycling centers. And so in Vancouver area, there's actually two places that I know that take car oil. I think there's one over here, Regional Recycling Bottle Depot, but they also take motor oil. And there's also Burnaby Eco Center. That's where I usually recycle my oil and all the everything else. Actually, they take everything, like almost everything. Toasters, I don't know, ovens, electronics, whatever needs to be recycled, and clothes. I'm gonna see if I can recycle my bumper in there as well. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. There's the oil. that's the end of this video. That's how you change oil in your hybrid Escape. And if you ever worried that you didn't tighten the filter or the drain plug tight enough, you can always just go out and check. Just check if it's dry or greasy. If it's greasy, maybe you wanna tighten it a bit more. And that's it. See you in the next one.